So last night when I was walking Sassy, I came out and I did a little video, like kind of like recapping, my day. And today I just woke up extremely tired, extremely exhausted. I got a like crazy headache. I probably just did too much yesterday, and it was a lot of people motherfucking coughing in their goddamn store. So I don't even know. I said I wasn't gonna say goddamn. I'm aware it'll eventually work itself out. Give it time. I need to just find another word. Like it was a lot of people coughing in the store yesterday. It was gross. And I ain't just talk about no like regular coughing. Just stay your ass at home coughs. However, if that is the case, then I know my immune system will build me up, and I've been taking some stuff to try to counteract that. But yeah, I woke up with an extreme headache and just not feeling good. So literally, I didn't even go on my walk for today, and I do have physical therapy tomorrow. So I was like, I'm not further pushing myself because I already feel not good, no bueno. So I was talking to y'all last night about my mom. I didn't even go into detail about how it happened. So yesterday, my mom literally um asked me, and it's weird. So to just put it into perspective of all my reservations, so Charlotte was supposed to meet up with one of her friends this weekend, and I told her like, you need to ask my mom, is it okay if I take you? And so and then she had to take her learners, and like I said, I have physical therapy this week. And so I literally was like, like you definitely need to ask her, can you use her car? And so she was like, she didn't really want to, but I'm just like, this is how this shit go. Like, it don't matter, that she fucked up. You don't want to be a fucked up person. So like, you got to make a decision whether you want to be her or you want to be, you. And so do what's right, even if she do what's wrong. Not in the sense of like, I'm not trying to teach her like, oh, treat people with respect no matter how they treat you. Nah, it's just like you using her shit. At the end of the day, I don't want you to be one of those. I don't want you to be using somebody else's shit and then you feel like you entitled. No, ma'am. No turkey, no ham. So ooh, what is that? So literally, I was telling her, I felt like as a parent, the right thing to do. I kind of felt like her. I felt like some bullshit would come from this, right? But I ain't say nothing. So, just like you still got to cover your part. So she go and ask her, hey, can one of my friends and I wanted to meet up at the mall this weekend? Like, can we go to Richmond? So, she was like, yeah. But she kind of hesitated at first, and she said, yeah. And then, and matter of fact, this probably was like Sunday. We on Tuesday today, so this was like Sunday. So she was like, yeah, because the only reason I remember is because I had to clean up the room. And so, because it's just getting to a point where like I cannot survive and too much clutter before it starts to make me feel like it's time to clean up. And so I was just like, like let's start to tidy up our area. So that's the only reason I remember, because once Charlotte asked, I know about maybe like 2 hours later, my mom came in the room, and that's how I remember, because I was cleaning up and I was in front of the door and she hit me with the door. And so she came in and she asked Charlotte because she do her feet. And so Charlotte was like, is this for free or is this for a price? Which I feel like it's fine for her to ask. Like, is you paying me? She been paying the girl to do her feet since she was a little girl. And so Charlotte was like, is you paying me or am I getting something from it? And so my mom said, I don't know, maybe. And then Charlotte counteracted with, you need to know. And she said it just like that, you need to know. This ain't no maybes, you need to know. And I was just like, oh, hold on. So as a parent, I felt like it's okay for her to want to be compensated to do her feet, but I did not like her tone and I did not like how she was talking to her. It wasn't what she said, it was how she said it. She definitely could have came up with a better way to talk to an adult. Even though my mother does not act like an adult, I still don't want my daughter going into this world with that type of energy. And so I waited till my mom left, though, because I feel like if my mom sees a power, like she would take advantage of me correcting her, thinking that it is solely about her, and it's like, no, it's the principle about I don't want her going out into the world, just disrespecting all adults just because your ass ain't right. But so I was literally had a conversation with her, and she was like, no. So little Charlotte felt like, so I waited till my mom left, and little Charlotte felt like, see, I already knew, that's why I didn't really want to ask her. And I was just like, it's all right, like I kind of felt like some shit was coming too. So I was like, however, like you can't talk to, her like that. I know she fucked up or whatever, but you need to find a better way to say it. Like, you need to be assertive for yourself, of course. Like, if you ain't gonna do it without a payment, that's your choice. Because she could definitely say, you can't go to Richmond in her car without you paying her. So like, it's your choice. However, I was like, I'm not telling you this because I feel like you have to do it or that you need to do it for free. I'm just telling you this. You need to, be mindful of how you talking to people. And so she was upset at first, and then she was like, nah, I get what you're saying. She just get on my nerves. And then I was just like, I mean, I understand, but like, fix it. So she went in there and she ended up doing her feet. And she did them for free, but she was just like, I hate that she does that. When I went in there, she talking about, we in this house are team players. And she was like, what if I would have told her, if we team players, then why my mama paying rent and y'all ain't got rent? Or if we team players, then, My mama be putting getting the oil changes and putting the gas in the car, like we take players, then you know why I gotta actually use the car. And I'm just like, bro, don't be her, because like, see, that's that narcissistic shit. That's when you be starting to become entitled to other people's shit. And it's just like, yeah, she fucked up, but like, don't try to be fucked up back with her, because then that's when you become her. And so it was just a teachable moment in that matter. Like, I understood her feelings. We talked to laugh about her feelings and how she felt about it and shit. And I was just like, you know, you can't do tit for tat, you know, with those type of people, or they'll start to like try to consume you and who you are and your goodness at your core and shit. So like, literally, you can either choose that you ain't gonna do some shit or that you is, and it's up to you. But I'm happy you peep game of how she knew that she gave you something, so now she's trying to get something back out of you. And you know, like, it was just weird. So in any other situation, if it was a person that didn't have all the mad games and playing games and shit, like, I would decide as a grandmother wanted her fucking feet done by her granddaughter, and her granddaughter should have done it. But because there's so much mad games and manipulation being played over here, mistreatment, we saw that shit for what it was. So saying that, the next following day, which was Boom Monday, I had let her know Sunday that we had to go in town for an appointment. I did not let her know that it was for Charlotte solely. I feel like Spirit covered me, because at one point I actually wanted to come in there and actually tell her Charlotte had her learner's permit test the next day. But something in my spirit, something in my soul, my mind, like, was literally like, hold off on that. It's sad that you can't share, you know, happiness and shit with people. But if they're not fucking happy for you and rooting for you, you don't. Just don't. So Spirit told me hold off on that. Then when Charlotte was asking her about the mall, the way she reacted, because she didn't react nasty with the mall, but she did a big pause as if like she wanted to say no. And then it was just like, that's her prerogative, but you know, you could feel the uneasiness. And so when she did that, I feel like Spirit once again covered me, because I was going to tell her like, oh, and tomorrow, you know, Charlotte has the test for her learners. But I didn't. What I ended up saying was tomorrow, oh yeah, tomorrow I have an appointment. And is it okay if I use a car type deal? And she was like, yeah. And I really think she's been really cool and chill about me using the car for my appointments, because she I don't know how to explain it, but I'll come back to that. I'll come back to that at a later time and date. And so like, literally, she with the situation, I just went ahead and kind of like Spirit took over and covered Charlotte ass, because it put it back on me. And so I do know the next day we went out. Before we went out, I think this was before we went out, or was it after? I think it was before we went out. So before we went out, yeah, it was before, because I was getting us our breakfast and stuff straight. So she literally was like, you know, I kind of covered this in the other video from yesterday, but she was basically was like, your aunt and your uncle birthdays are this month, and they're celebrating their birthdays this month. I'm telling y'all, I wasn't even aware that she was asking for me to do this tomorrow. So like today. So it would have been for today. So she asked me yesterday about today. And so literally, I'm just thinking she wanted to do this at some point in the month, but she never was clear that it was going to be for the following day. But she was like, your aunt and uncle celebrating their birthdays, I wanted you to drive me down and come sit and eat. And so I literally, when she said my uncle, it was a no for me. It was an instant no for me. And I bring this up because it's bothering me. So I literally had said automatically no in my head. And I think a lot of times we don't realize like our agreements or non-action and disagreements to things are us entering contracts and entering deals. And we don't realize that because we've only been taught to look at it as like paper, like you signing a contract on paper. But the moment you make a decision, like, you're entering a deal, you're entering a path, you're entering an agreement. And so I have been trying so hard to be consciously aware of what I'm going to enter into. And so when she said his name, and he's the known family ancestral pedophile, and I mean his daughters, nieces, granddaughter, like, he has an extensive history of accusations, and it's a no for me. And like I said in my previous video, when I first started making these videos, I was so conditioned to accept abusers that I didn't know how to feel about it, because he had never done anything to me. And I feel like even though a person has never done anything to you, and he literally was my favorite uncle, like, and now I look back on it, I'm so cringe, because the only reason nothing ever happened to me was because she never left me in his care by myself. But I will say this, she has let his wife watch me when I was little, and I do have memories of that. But outside of that, I don't ever remember being alone with him, and I thank God for that. But at the same token, like, when I look back on him, he gave Predator for real. And he used to literally he would always buy me like treats and candy and ice creams. And I'm not saying that every person who comes into your life or your kid's life that do this is a predator, but when I look back at it, a lot of times the predators do get children with giving them things, and definitely when your children grow up in poverty. And so I always looked at it like, you know, he cared about me and he loved me because of that. And that was why he was my favorite uncle, because he was the uncle that literally gave me things every time he came around. And so and if that's that easy for someone to be your favorite person, then you might want to reconsider that. And so, like, literally, I was a child. I'm not, you know, condemning myself for nothing like that, but now that I have experienced my own goddamn story, and literally I still have missing parts, but now that I'm growing and I'm unconditioning myself from what I was taught in my own family lineage, I now do not support him. He is not my favorite uncle. He is literally a pedophile, a rapist, and that's just what that is. However, also to be fair to his story, that same aunt that was very fucking abusive to me in so many levels that I have yet to even discuss, but I've told you enough. It was alleged that she was the one molesting him as a child. So it's the gift that keeps on giving. And we don't know whether she was molested as a child or what her treatment was as a child. My grandma had 14 kids. She couldn't keep up with all of them. So, and I ain't gonna say she couldn't. I'm gonna just say she didn't. And so, and I can't judge her situation because, baby, I struggle with the motherfucking one. One drives me fucking nuts. And I couldn't imagine having 14 even spaced out. It looked like them lateran flies are over this bitch. They say you're supposed to step on them, but I think that's what that looked like. Anywho, so literally, she brought that up, and I immediately was like, I'm having no parts of this. I'm not doing abusive relationships no more, and that even means with y'all motherfuckers. And the only reason I'm here with you is until I can get on my feet financially and get the fuck out. And not even just financially, like mentally and spiritually. I came back to this house. Not even on E. Baby, I was in a deficit. I wasn't even just a shell of myself anymore. I didn't even remember who the fuck I was. I was in a deficit when I came back here. And the abuse I had to endure from my own mother, literally, like, yeah. I'm not having no pity party right now. Like, literally, everything that fucking happened literally helped build me up even quicker. So, I don't know why the fuck I'm designed to be like this, but, like, I don't know. The shit that's set to destroy me literally be building me up. So, thank y'all. Thank y'all, because I probably wouldn't have came to my senses to this rate, because I'm still going. I'm still going. I wouldn't have came to my senses at this rate had it not been from the abuse that was being dished out. So, literally, yeah, the only reason I'm really rocking with her right now is because, you know, I'm in this situation, but, you know, I literally have peeped game, and she came up through some crazy shit, and she failed to rise above it. When I say to you that I have came a long way with hatred and animosity and anger and rage, it doesn't mean that I don't still have feelings, and she can still like hurt me or whatever like that. It don't mean that she can't make me upset or anything. Like, she can make me upset. Like, she kind of pissed me off a little bit by even asking me to go. And however, it wasn't to the point where, like, it was just like I'm gonna what do you call it? Like, I'm gonna go off because she even asked me. That's where I was at when the fuck I first got here. Like, anything could trigger me. And so, like, now it's just like, okay, well, you're hell-bent on being a matriarch that upholds pedophiles, and that's what you're showing me. And I'm so sad that you were conditioned to this, because you didn't want this. I'm sure your mother didn't want this to be a matriarch to uphold pedophiles and rapists. And I'm sure the matriarch and her family and all, and on and on and on. So much was done to us that, you know, I am learning to forgive those who came before me, and which I already knew. But because of that, I wasn't honoring my own story, my own hurt, and my own pain. And now I am. And when I say that I'm learning to forgive, I'm learning to, like, forgive the pain and the anger that is associated with those experiences. And so, literally, we did not have a knockout brawl. I did not have to, you know, ask what the fuck, why you hit me with this blow. It was just like, you know, this is who she is, and this is who she's gonna be, and I do not want her around. I don't want her around this kid, let alone anything else I reproduce. But once we get out this situation, it's not just my mother. It is my mother is a representation, and so many others who have been abusive, and even my old versions of myself are a representation of what my family lineage has been through as far as my bloodline. And I would like to move forward from a lot of those things and let my child now know, like, this is what we not doing, this is why we not doing it, these are these stories, I'm not holding them back from you. Like, know your history so that you can break those cycles and keep them, you know, from repeating. So it's just, I don't have the hatred and animosity that I once had, and I thank God for that. But I am still dealing with some guilt because that came up. So saying that, when I was talking about contracts, which I want to do a little mini video before it starts to rain on contracts. So literally before I went into no, I wouldn't say before I went into it. So when I told her no, I told her assertively no. She then tried to come in and act like she wasn't defending him, but yet was defending him. And I talked about that in that video. And back in the past, that would have caused an argument. It didn't cause an argument because I accepted her. You showing me who you is, I accept that. But I don't accept it for me. That's for you. It's not for me. Clear-cut boundaries of, I could take you, but I cannot sit down and eat dinner with y'all. I did the video, went to sleep, woke up, like I said, I felt like shit, and I felt like I don't want to go. I don't want to go anymore. Like, I don't even want to take her. So, like, I don't even want to take you to go eat dinner with the pedophile. I don't even want to participate in that in any fucking fashion or form. And I felt like the only reason, and I said it in the video last night, the only reason that I was willing to is because she has allowed me to use her car. And if it literally costs me my transportation to physical therapy, I feel like I should be okay with that. That's called integrity, when you know, do what you believe is right, no matter what you stand to lose or what you think you can gain. So, like, literally, it's didn't sit right with me, and I just kept praying that morning. I was just like, God, I do not feel like going. I don't want to go. I don't even, buy into what the fuck she, is doing. So like, I don't even feel like I should be obligated to go. But guilt started to come up. But you agreed that came up. Like you told her you was gonna do it, and I don't like telling people I'm gonna do something and then I don't do it. If I get to that point, just know that I'm drowning. Because I don't like telling you I'm gonna show up, I'm gonna do something like that. Shit bothers the fuck out of me afterwards. Like consciously, I will feel bothered, and so that bothered me. And it was just like, well, sometimes you can agree to things and you can't do it. It's not the end of the world. And obviously you're in duress when you agreed to do it, because you wasn't even fully aware of when it was happening. And it was kind of thrown at you so quickly. So like literally a lot of times we are being forced into these, and I had just did a video about this, and I think I deleted it. It might be still in my camera, but I was just talking about this with my daughter and making sure she read through her DMV contract for getting her learners. Like, and I teach her this even before this point, like you read through that paper. You know how to read, utilize that skill, know what the fuck you're signing up for. And I think a lot of us are not taught that in making decisions. Some of us overthink decisions. Some of us overthink it to the point that we fail to act. Some of us are overly confident to the point that we literally give up our rights to literally think about it, because we become so overly confident that this is something good that we give up the right to actually think about what we're getting into. I'm guilty of all of them. The failure to act, because I'm just so overwhelmed and I don't know what the fuck to do. Overthinking it so much that I can literally steal my own joy or out of the situation, and or like just being overly confident, like fuck this, like yeah, I already know, like I can do this, I got this, like so like literally, I have been trying to find a balance for myself, like what balance looks like for me in all things, and they're trying to teach my daughter the same thing, like so trying to show her by example and actually doing it so with her. So it was funny that I'm bringing this up and tying it to this piece, but I felt like it was thrown at me last minute, and I'm trying to be myself, which is a sensitive lover girl. I know I'm rough as a bitch, but like literally at my core, I'm literally so loving and caring. Like the people that care about me, even the ones that were abusive, that were under the guise that they cared about me, like I'm going to be there for you if you need me. It used to be to a detriment to myself, and so like I'm learning that balance, and I'm trying to figure out how to maintain my core self, no matter the environment I'm in, and no matter who I'm dealing with. In this situation, it isn't the same as it would be if I was dealing with scenarios outside of me, because like I literally could say, you know what, I'm not fucking with it because I don't like how this person moving. I'm kind of in a situation where I'm learning how to identify fake love, and I'm learning how to maintain my core regardless of what's going on. So try not to lose myself no matter what the environment is or who the person is to me. So it's been challenging, and I feel like that was a contract that I did under guilt. It was under guilt, like, oh, I'm using her car, so and that's kind of like guilt. And what else would that be? You're not doing it because you want to, you're doing it out of obligation because you feel like you have to. And so I opted out though. She did end up coming into the room, because I was kind of like, well, if she doesn't come in here and say, are you ready, I'm not getting up and going out there and seeing if she's still ready or she still want to go. And so when she came in the room, I was still in the bed, and she was just like, well, if you don't feel like driving, like I could just drive myself. And I was like, oh, okay, well, that's nice. And I think that is good, because she drives my brother. So his appointment was, why can't you drive yourself to go have a family outing with the people you love? So, yeah, that happened. And I was relieved in the sense of, oh my gosh, I don't have to be participating in this. Then I also felt so fucking guilty, because I'm like, okay, she is, how old is she? She's like 76 now, and she got to drive all the way down that road. She old. That's my mother. That shit. And so even after all this shit, yes, I do still care about her. She gave me life. However, I am learning to not allow my care for anybody, my love for anybody, allow them to misuse or mistreat me. And so I did feel guilty. And I even got mad because my brother wouldn't let her use his car, which his car is way more reliable than hers. But at the same token, I was like, okay, that's deflection. That's none of my business. And that's his right. That's his car. That's his possession. So like, what are you doing? So I think in that moment too, that was a part of me taking on her feelings and not honoring mine. And so just learning to stay in my lane and mind my own motherfucking business and do what's right for me and my kid. Refocusing so that I can get up out of here, because I think it's getting to a point where like, well, it already got to a point where I shouldn't be here, period. But it's just getting to a point where like now I'm getting stronger and wiser, and I can apply more than what I was able to at first. Like I said, I was in a deficit. I don't even know how I was operating, but I really do feel like I can get to a point where like I can make a way for me and my daughter, to get up out of here. So just trying to stay focused, stay grounded, and stay focused on that. That's got to be my number one priority right now. At first it was healing to get to a state where I could do that, and now it's like integrating, okay, we're gonna always be healing because we always gonna have things that we gotta learn and grow through. But now that we got that part of it, you know, we getting that part of it down, like we can add more stuff, more responsibilities, more things to the plate without it cracking. So just honoring myself, being honest about my feelings. I think that's the most important thing. If you're not honest about your feelings, then you are surely going to be in denial. Gotta be honest about your feelings. Gotta honor where you're at. Yes, I still feel guilty about a person who literally has treated me like shit. While I've been here, and throughout my childhood, even though I just thought, as a child, I just thought, you know, she was hurting, blah, 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 and blah, 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 blah. Like, I just thought, you know, she did her best. But, like, now, as an adult, some mother's best isn't enough. And I think my goal is to work on the things that were conditioning me for myself and for my daughter and for the people that would be in my environment, so that I'm not fucking them up. So, yeah, that's just where I'm at. Just releasing a lot of different things. Trying to feel better. I don't feel really good today, but still gonna take care of myself. I did say I'm not going for a walk. My head hurts so bad. Then it fell out and bust my head. I was like, I ain't doing that. So I probably just go ahead and I need to fix me some tea. And I had like watermelon like this morning when I got up. I had watermelon, but I don't know, my appetite just kind of like not really great. But I think I might do need to try to eat. So I'm gonna go ahead and try to take care of myself and call it a day.